Good morning. Good morning. Hi. Good to see you all. So,
I'm down.
I think I wrote this song when I was about 23, so it was a year or two ago. That's just yesterday. How did you know that? Yeah, exactly. So I think I was reading The Artist's Way or something like that, doing morning pages or something in that book, and it had me thinking about all this, how to get my head around, as if we can get our head around God, right? So thought I could at 23. No. So am I God or is God in me? Am I the love or does it flow through me? Am I the waves or an arm of the world? Are there beauty as they crest and curl? Am I the voices and harmony? The look of love or your powerful beauty? Fingers on frets and the notes sustain. The ivory's pressed, only love remains. Am I all these things? Maybe so much more. For years and years I've come to explore. It all comes down. In the end you'll see. To the love in you, the love in me. Am I the notes that make the song, or lovers' hearts as they dance along? And maybe stars in a desert sky. There's such a freedom in just asking why. The clear twinkle in a baby's eyes, or children's laughter on a carnival ride. Just to stop for a moment and be the love in you, the love in me. Am I all these things? Maybe so much more. For years and years I tried to ignore. It all comes down. In the end you'll see. To the love in you, the love in me. It all comes down. In the end you'll see. To the love in you. Right to the love in you. Oh, the love in you, the love in me. Good morning. Thanks. Thank you.
What is that song called?
The love in you.
The Love in You. Nice song.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like it. He had a haircut if you don't recognize him. It's Steve Mason. Sometimes we can't tell each other apart when we have our haircut. We just look like everybody else. Yeah. Yeah. Defining characteristics slip away.
That's okay.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah.
No, it's great, huh? We just look like everybody. And we do. We look like ourselves. We look in the mirror. We're not sure who we are, but we look in the mirror and we think, oh, it's myself again. And then sometimes we stop for a minute and we look in the mirror and we think, oh, I'm looking at me being myself in this moment. And there's just an instant of light between how my thoughts all run together and that instant of seeing that there's a space between how I always hold myself And that sudden glimpse, just that sudden glimpse, oh, we ask the question, who's looking at me from inside? And who's having this thought? And who's making up how things are right now in the experience of my life? Oh, it must be me. And in that observation, we step back and recognize for a moment that perhaps we're not captured, but free. Really free. In a way we didn't notice by being too busy, too caught, too hooked by something. But there's a promise of freedom. There's a promise of a deep and profound freedom. And it's here in the midst of our own being. When we say there's only one presence and one power, we need to take out the word only. There is one presence and one power. We say God, we say the good, we say the presence, we say the divine, we say the one, we say whatever word makes sense to us in our spiritual journey of awakening. There is one presence and one power. God, we say God the good, everywhere present, constant, infinite, unfailing, unfolding good. It may not always seem so, but nonetheless, in the midst of all things is an ever-evolving, unfolding goodness. There is one presence and one power, God the good. God, all power, all wisdom, all love, everywhere, in every breath, in every beat of your heart. So we welcome you this morning in that awareness of one presence and power in you and in us and in our spiritual community. We welcome you warmly and lovingly to Unity Skagit Valley, and we're so grateful for your presence, for the gift of your presence online or in the room. We have friends who are back from far away, being what we call home for a while, nesting with us for a while. We're grateful for friends who enrich us and bless us in so many ways. We're grateful for Jerry, who's always trying to make it work from the back of the room, always trying to make it work. Last week he was kind of like, I could feel things weren't quite right. I said, what's going on? Technology, he said. Technology. So Jerry, always thank you for tweaking and playing with the technology to make it work. Our new friend Ethan is in the sound booth, as we call it, in the back of the room. Welcome. Thank you so much. Ellen's away for a couple of weeks, I think, doing something fun and wonderful, having a break from her little box in the sound booth. And each of you are here by, as I say, divine appointment. Steve is here that way, I'm here that way. We're all here by divine appointment. And none of us knows what today will hold, but if I say and you say and we all say it's good, then whatever's going on and whatever arises is for our benefit and blessing. Richard, are you our daily word reader this morning?
Yes, I was asked to switch with someone.
Please come. Please do that for us. The word for today is release.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Richard.
You know, every time I look in a mirror, if I'm not awake yet, I go, whoa, I'm right-handed? Morning, Steve. Today's daily word is release. So you can take a deep breath and release. Releasing the past, I make room for the future. My life experiences have provided me with many gifts, from joyous to painful. I have taken something from each one, a nugget of wisdom, understanding, solace that has helped me evolve into the person I am today. I am always growing, always changing. With gratitude, I receive the blessings while letting the painful memories go. I have no room for regret and do not dwell on things I have no power to change. As I release unwanted thoughts and unpleasant memories, I free myself to enjoy new experiences and create beautiful, lasting memories. With an uncluttered mind and an unburdened heart, I embrace the present moment and eagerly create my bright, beautiful future. And from Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, paragraph 6, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to throw away.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
I love that Ecclesiastes piece. If we only had one piece of Bible memorabilia or history or however we choose to call it, that Ecclesiastes piece covers all the bases. There's a time for everything, and everything is beautiful in its own time. It's heartening to hear that. Reassuring to know that. What are you up to in your life? I'm asking for a personal measurement. What are you up to? As in, are you up to an 8 on a scale of 10, or up to 30 on a scale of 100? What are you up to? Where are you energetically? Where are you physically? Where are you in relationship to life? Where are you within yourself? Where are you? If we ran a scale, where would you mark yourself today? And where would you look to attribute that measurement? Would you say, oh, it's my achy body? Or would you say, oh, it's my family stuff? Or would you say, oh, it's my, or would you say, oh, it's a great day. I had a little bit of time. I had a little bit of sun. Leslie said, where are we on the scale? And can we realize that that's a self-determining issue? That I determine that within myself. The scale is flexible, and we can run up and down the scale any number of times a day. But what do we believe conditions our well-being? And what owns that in us that we call our well-being, our wellness, our level of okay? Is it enough to be just okay? Or is there something pushing at us to be more than okay? And what does it take for that to happen? It takes a step, a decision, a witnessing of ourselves in a moment to say, oh, I could shift this should I choose. I could really see that one thought higher than this one. I was thinking last night about the old Stretton Smith program, the 4 T's. Was that it? I keep looking at Deirdre because she's a resident expert in the room this morning. I can look at you, you'll tell me what I forget. The 4T program, Stretton Smith, famous prosperity program, just used to drive me nuts. We do it to increase prosperity consciousness for people. And the steps in it were always great steps. They were meaningful, and really, when you began to practice them, paid off, literally, in good result. So it was a prosperity program. Prosperity, time, talent, treasure. I think there's a fourth one, time, talent, tithing. Oh, that one. Yeah, that's the big frog, they called it. The big frog. But the program was so important because it covered the basics about being vigilant, if you will, in the matter of what you feel is controlling your life experience. And so coming to that piece about tithing, the program said, and I can't remember why, but if you gotta eat 5 frogs, eat the big one first, right? Wasn't that it? But then this morning I was thinking about it and I thought, why would you have to eat 5 frogs? But then I couldn't make up a story about that. So, but what I remember of the story was about the 5 frogs, and eat the big one first. If you've got a challenge in your life, if something's like pushing at you, eat that one first. And what's the resolution to every issue? Get to God quick. Get yourself in spiritual alignment as quickly as you can. That's the big frog. When it came to tithing in the class, everyone was expected to give 10% of their income during the experience of the class, which was 12 weeks long. So it was long, and people sold houses, and people did all kinds of things, and there was a commitment, a signed agreement about, so it was like, don't pray to sell your house during a 4T program because it could come down to the bottom line. So people did, and then they wanted their money back. It was like, no. So they gave it, and then they wanted their money back, because what do we trust in the universe? We don't trust that we are cared for. We don't trust that on a more expansive level, we are constantly, always sufficiently blessed. Our ministry runs on the basis of we believe in the principles that we teach. And we believe in this process we call tithing, because as a ministry, we tithe monthly to an organization that benefits our spiritual well-being. And we've done that consistently over time, and sometimes we didn't do it, and then we rose back to it. And we make a difference. Our ministry makes a difference. And we make a difference because we believe in practicing the principles of unity. So I'd like to invite you all to take on a challenge. And the challenge doesn't have to do with money, actually. I'd like all of you to find a copy of Emily Cady's book, Lessons in Truth. And for the next month, I would like you to dedicate yourself to reading Lessons in Truth by Emily Cady once again. If you've done it, do it again. The book never wears out. And in it, it will allow you to line and align with these great and wonderful unity principles. And when we ask, what are the principles and what are the laws? She outlines them more perfectly than anyone I've ever read or in any of the books I've ever seen. And it speaks of a language of the 1890s in her time. And so, Lessons in Truth by Dr. H. Emily Cady. You can get it online. We've probably have 1,000 copies laying around somewhere on our bookshelves that haven't been touched for a long time. So dust them off and put them to work, if you will. On the 17th, we have a concert. Janet and Narian will be here at 7 o'clock in our newly air-conditioned building. And it'll be a wonderful evening. Suggested donation of $20. Any other announcements, Jerry? We have a board meeting this week on Tuesday at 5:30. It's a Zoom meeting. If you want to participate, please let Jerry know so he can send you the Zoom link. Other than that, I have no other announcements. Got that out of the way. We all go, what do you think? Shall we do a meditation time?
That sounds great.
Does
I
it?
would just put Narian and Janet in here in the
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That'd be wonderful. Come, come. Dance, sing, play, cheer, rejoice. Have a wonderful time with Janet and Narian. Bring friends. Fill the sanctuary.
Take flyers.
Oh, take flyers. Hand them out to folks around and about. Places you go, things you do. Breathe into now. On that scale, we were registering, where am I now? Where am I now? Just take a measurement inwardly. Distracted, distant, open, closed. Heart open, body relaxed. Mind twirling. And just touch gently into that energy that you're feeling, sensing, experiencing now. Just gently touch into it and adjust it slightly. You have the rheostat. Just turn up or down that energetic level so that you can feel that feeling of relaxation and opening. Loving Spirit, I pray to be open and receptive. I pray to be pliable and flexible, adaptable and willing. I pray that my decision this day would be to remain open to all possibility. I pray asking this of myself, for I know that I am the one who chooses. You have given me all power. You have already done the great work that I seek to experience. And when I can relax and open and listen deeply, I know that your great work is accomplished. Use your breath as the instrument of allowing. As you breathe in, you are filled with that precious, infinite possibility. And as you exhale, you allow the dissolving, if you will, the releasing of what would stand in your way. I allow God to be God in me. Utilizing my mind creatively. Using my mind as an instrument of all possibility. I allow God to be God in me fully, as me, through me, the perfect radiation of life, wholeness, everything within responds to that movement, and everything is a manifestation of the fullness of the One. This body, this beating heart, all the I allow that God would be God, moving powerfully through every aspect of my being. And radiate through me to bless every step, to lift and uplift, to see that renewing, resurrecting possibility in each one I meet, in all I see. I allow God to be the God of my heart, the presence of love and the healing and the mending of all things that might seem to be separate and divided. With your breath, and with that allowing of the mind and the body and the being, just rest for a moment. I allow. Say it to yourself. I allow. I allow the power of possibility to be born in this very moment, in my mind, my heart, my body, and my being. Possibility not just for myself, but for all of us, for our world, for our brothers and sisters, for all of life. I see possibility, and I give thanks. Every blessing is ours, and we accept, giving thanks. And so it is. I allow. Amen.
There's a song about acceptance, realizing we can't be who we are today without having been where we've been. But then I guess we get caught up in where we've been sometimes, right? So acceptance of that and realizing it is about those choices we make now. So dressed in smiles, hanging on to all that joy just a little while, running with them, kicking a red ball a country mile. Well, it makes this life worthwhile. Sitting around the fire, friends around the flame, love surrounds the campsite, playing late games, retelling silly stories, people laughing just the same. And we stumble on this timeless refrain: you can't be who you be till you've been where you've been. The sweetest things in this life are your soul's best friends. And if you let that all inside, You won't regret it in the end. You can't be who you be till you've been where you've been. Well, my mom had quite a smile, and Dad a pity grin. The brightest little star, though it started to dim. Now it wasn't what they dreamed of, but they still live within, and they color all the places that I've been. No, you can't be who you be till you've been where you've been. No, the saddest things in this life, they'll come back again. But don't you lock them up inside, or you'll regret that in the end. You can't be who you be till you've been you've been where you've been. You'll never put your foot into the same stream again. And if you let that all inside, you won't regret it, all my friend. You can't be who you be till you've been where you've been.
It's true, it's true, it's true. It all makes sense somewhere in there, doesn't it? So I put together a series of five streams of thought. And we started with self-awareness. Can you observe yourself from within? Can you watch your thoughts? Can you move into that state of being an observer of yourself, not from the outside in, but from the inside out, living with the question, who sees? Who is it that's seeing through these eyes? Who's seeing? Who is it that is the point of observation here, that's constantly neutrally witnessing everything and moving then that into a deeper understanding, perhaps, of how to move away for an instant, back up, back off the incessant activity of mind, entertaining one insane moment after another. The mind, as though it was the control center of our being, rather than a passing activity that's constantly and seemingly infinitely moving through an unawakened mind. And an unawakened mind, I say, is someone who hasn't yet been able to observe themselves with this movement of thought. So the belief is, I am my thought. The belief is, I am my emotion. The belief is, I am my action, whatever that might be, related to my thought. Or I am at the mercy of what's going on around me to formulate who I am or how I will be. So that was the first in the process of that. And then everything is my teacher, which I first read in Course in Miracles, Everything is My Teacher, about everything has come to through wake us up, teach us inwardly, learning at the level of the inner spiritual level instead of constantly battling whatever else might be out or around or whatever thought might be. I can take that in, I can use it as spiritual juice to awaken, to enlighten, if you will. And right now I can't remember last week, but there was one last week. I look at you and wonder, what did I say last week? It'll come to me soon, I'm sure, or not. But the one I started focusing on for this week had to do with benevolence and how seldom we hear the word benevolence. What is it? The word benevolent. I started online doing a huge search for stories about benevolence that didn't have someone higher giving to someone lower, someone who had more giving to someone who didn't have from that ego standpoint. Benevolence frequently happens out of the movement of the ego mind, the good thing to do, the generous thing to do, the good thing to do is to be benevolent, but it's for cause, and most frequently it's outwardly centered. It's for a cause there instead of a way in which we live from the inside out. Our nature is benevolence. Our nature, our divine nature, is a constancy of benevolence. It's a constancy of the flow and a decision we make to be something rather than simply to do something. It is to be good, to be kind, to be somehow heart-focused, outwardly living in an open-hearted, more trusting, more unified way with life. Benevolence, a state of kindness that we don't quite know how to describe. But online, I started looking for stories. Tell me stories about benevolence. And there are stories about, kind of big deal story, but every deal is a big deal when you start to look at the natural state of benevolence. And there was a quote that Sam Long posted this week, not his, but from Rabbi Schneerson. Imagine you could open your eyes to see only the good in every person. Imagine waking up and all you could see was the good in every person, the positive in every circumstance. Ooh, waking up, opening your eyes, and all you could see was one positive outcome after another in all circumstance. And the opportunity in every challenge. Again, being asleep and then waking up and seeing, oh, there's learning and growth and opportunity in every challenge. That's the song. That's what we live into and from. There's an opportunity in every challenge. It's what makes us who we are. Steve just told us that. It's everything. Opportunity is present in every challenge. It's a baseline of spiritual teaching and journeying, coming to see that yes, it's a challenge, and yeah, it's a humdinger. But there's good in every challenge. There's opportunity. Something is growing out of the midst of that grittiness. So when I took benevolence as the thought for the week, I just couldn't land on. I kind of woke up and went to sleep thinking about benevolence. without a firm hold on that. And then the next piece dropped in, and it was about forgiveness. About forgiveness. We can talk about benevolence from the standpoint of what we do for others. We can talk about benevolence from whatever door we hold open, whatever lane we surrender to the oncoming traffic. The kind of benevolence that's present in just how we make the decision to live our lives as a person of goodness and kindness. But then it goes deeper. And true benevolence, in my meditation, in my exploration, led me right into the heart of forgiveness. Can I be merciful? Can I choose to be merciful to myself? And out of that, can I allow that to blossom and unfold in the way I can practice benevolence and mercy with others? I love the word mercy. I love the feeling of the word mercy, not from being it has a bad rap. Mercy. It sounds like you're saving someone or martyring in some way. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. May I have mercy on me. May I be merciful in that practice of going more deeply into the experiences of the moments of my life with a kind of self-mercy, self-benevolence that allows that energy that wants to be freed to be released as this new possibility or way of being can emerge. So as I explored it, I looked at so the word mercy really kicked in for me. Let me say this first. I attended 3 or 4 days Stephen Levine training back when I was still in Bellevue. Stephen Levine worked with death and dying individuals who he and his wife had a 24-hour call line, and they worked with people who were in various stages of death and dying for the most part. And he was teaching us how to be present with individuals, but most of all with ourselves, with mercy. So a woman came to the microphone, what people do in those workshops, if you haven't ever been to one, something like that. There are microphones and he invites people to come forward and talk about what's up for them or what's happening or why they're standing there in that moment. And a woman spoke about her 14, 15-year-old daughter who had dressed in her favorite clothes that day and ended up taking an overdose of medication, coming downstairs, lying in her mother's lap where she took her last breath. She just cuddled up to her mama in her lap and died. The mother, of course, and it wasn't that, it hadn't happened that long before this particular retreat time. I just remember him sitting there in his lotus posture and bearded and grizzly kind of guy. Small, just huge presence. And he just looked at her, and she was coming apart at the seams. Have mercy, he said. Have mercy on you. Have mercy on you. And she responded, and he just kept taking her deeper into what would it mean for you to accept that kind of mercy in your own story, in your own experience, that kind of universal benevolence of a moment present with you and in you, as you, through you. That kind of benevolence, not just, I don't want to use the term self-love. I'm setting that over here. That kind of benevolence, that kind heart, that open-hearted kindness that we aspire to share with others in this state of benevolence, kindness, generosity. How would it be to open our eyes and see only the good in me? I mean, the real good. Not the stuff our mind tells us that we are acting on all the time, that messy stuff, that judgment, that self-condemnation, all of those things. What would it be? What would it be if you could really take it in? And you all know I've been doing this a long time. And I can talk about self-acceptance, and I can talk about who we are as divine beings. But the one beloved we've never fully met, most of us, and it's the thing that holds us away from not having to suffer and suffer and suffer, is that sense that I am my own beloved. I am my own beloved one. And in that, of course I make choices, and of course I go off track, but part of benevolence, self-benevolence, universal benevolence, is the ability to watch that, not just fall into it over and over and over and over again. We just come up to the edge, and how many times have you walked and fell into that same hole because we're so identified? What would it be? What would it be to just offer that kind of wide open, I don't have to do that anymore. Mercy and grace, this benevolence is constantly pouring into and through me. But I'm chained and hooked by these same patterns of relating to myself. And in that, until I can begin to see that for what it is, the story I tell, the thought I think, the belief I've held, the experience I had, until we can begin to stretch the parameters of our witnessing of self, that lives like a constancy in the background, when in fact it's not a reality in the moment. It used to be. Perhaps I thought it was. But is it true, really true? Am I capable of granting mercy to myself? And the answer is every time I choose to control life by judging it, fixing it, telling the story again, it's a form of control. It's a way I control things to stay in that known pattern. What if in the midst of that arising once again, I was able to say, look at me, be controlling. And what's the outcome? Suffering. I'll keep telling the story, and I'll keep investing in it because it's the road I've traveled. I want to validate it. I want it to be real and important today. Well, if it were real and important today, it would be happening today. But no, it happened then. Emmett Fox talks about being wedded to the thing that we won't let go, won't forgive. When I was a child, I believed it was my fault. I believed that what was going on in my home was my fault. What people were doing was my fault. As time went on, so easy to say, my fault, my fault, my fault. Not that we're about blaming whose fault it was. My fault, as a way of trying to identify our role in the world. We took on these characteristics that underscored not enough, or my fault, or whatever we felt was not enough about us. And then someone says, have mercy on you. You're the beloved one. And all we can hear is this build-up of mechanisms and ideas that we've lived with for so long that ride right over the top of that. You're the beloved. Have mercy on you. We can't wake up if we can't forgive ourselves from the ideas we held, not the things we did, not the things that happened to us. What we're forgiving is the ideas we hold and exercise every day, and every day we look at them and we unchain ourselves once again by saying, I am the beloved. It doesn't serve for me to continue to torture myself in the interest of these ideas that I've held for so long. It doesn't change I'm accountable for my behaviors. It doesn't change that there's work to be done. And the work is even greater than that. The reconciliation councils, the truth and reconciliation councils in South Africa, in Rwanda, in other countries, where they brought people in and they talked to each other and forgave each other and whatever else. And it was really noble and it was very beautiful and it was incredibly powerful. And things broke open in all directions when people could say to one another, forgive me for what I've done. Forgive me. Forgive me. And I forgive you. I forgive you. I forgive you. But it didn't start with something more fundamental. I forgive me. Which happens at a level of deepening awareness where we look at ourselves and we say, not to create more torture and suffering, but to really go to that place inwardly that says, I forgive me for abandoning, rejecting, judging, criticizing, abusing myself, over and over and over again in the belief that somehow it's just the way I'm made to do that, and that that's my job. The problem with the Reconciliation and Truth Commissions is, for the people who participated, it was wonderful. But the next generation came along up through that, not the generation that created those atrocities. The next generation has arisen in South Africa and Rwanda, and they're violent and hateful and spiteful and unhealed. Down in the deepest places, the violence and the kinds of violence outpicture even more than what was occurring before, when one tribe went against another tribe to take supremacy. The healing that has to take place at a deeper level, for there to be healing at the broader level, has to happen in the place where we finally come into the place where benevolence, that inner reality of being, opens the door. Because it happens person by person by person by person by person by person. We want the collective, but what we see is he or she who is unhealed will continue to engage in the same actions that have caused harm. And if we can't project it out there, we'll project it in here, or the other way around. If we can't meet it in here, we will project it out into life. For the ones who have never felt loved, who have never been seen, who have struggled to eat, who have struggled to get their feet on the ground, moving one in front of the other. They've never been told. They've never been told you are a child of the one. And if they've been told that, they haven't experienced it on the inner level. As spiritual teachers, leaders, beings in the world, our task is to learn how to internalize these deeper truths and allow that to be present, at least in our world, in the knowing that that connects to the larger world, which connects to the deeper places in us all. Desmond Tutu, God bless his soul, kind, benevolent, generous, amazing being, sat through story after story after story of the worst that could happen and saw people healed. But it didn't translate into the larger picture because it was this to this instead of this to this. I heal for the world. I heal for my family. I heal in a way that stops the idea, or at least interrupts the idea, that it's just the way it is that we hate ourselves. It's just the way it is that we become sleepless over our inadequacies or our ineptness or our mistakes or our history or whatever it is. When in fact what's calling us is so much more. Have mercy on you. We've lived our lives, we've made huge mistakes. They've had impacts on people that are just really deep. But carrying that on will do no one any good ever. We can tell our story, but one day the story I'd love for us to tell ourselves is, I am the beloved, in whom all of life is well pleased. I am the beloved, that which is created from the very essence of pure love. Created not to be a package of one problem after another. Created to be one growing, learning experience after another, in the interest of healing, in the interest of wholeness, in the interest of transforming our lives. And so what do? We forgive. What do we do? What do we do? I've forgiven some horrendous things in my life, except I didn't do it. I was willing. I allowed forgiveness to occur by letting go of the story bit by bit, piece by piece, bit by bit, piece by piece, and coming into a place of a different relationship with myself that transformed all the other pieces of my life. Have mercy. I don't mean let yourself off the hook for not being accountable. I mean be accountable and practice benevolence. And read Emily Cady. My request of you, read Lessons in Truth. So, next week we'll finish this series. Well, we'll never finish this series, but we'll add a new name to it. We'll pick a new name and repackage it, and we'll talk about all these things again. Mr. Jerry, do we have people online this morning?
We do.
Can we say hi to those people and have them say back hi?
We have Helen and Cindy and Julie and Valerie Rose and
Yay.
Betsy,
Yay.
and I'm sure a number of others who are hiding.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for being with us online, wherever you are. And for those who will watch this later, know that next week we'll continue this discussion. But what I want to say is, you mean so much to us. We sit here in the room, but our community is far and wide and expansive, and we're so grateful for your presence. I talked about tithing. The church tithes each month. We do that because of the support we receive from our congregation. We tithe because you offer love in the form of your giving, and then we take that and pass it on for the good of others, in addition to meeting the needs that we have here in the ministry. We've just upgraded the youth education department, as you've noticed. We've been busy upgrading technology. We've been doing a lot of things in addition to our normal everyday expenses. And we continue to give generously and easily because we believe that God is our source and abundance is our nature. And we're practicing that at the heart of the ministry. That's how we live it, and that's how we see it to be true. So our gift this morning, as you hold it in your hand, offer the blessing. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. Do it with a little power. I give joyfully and easily, for God is my source, and abundance is my nature. and so it is. The all-purpose usher, thank you for volunteering. There's a lot going on today. Anacortes Arts Festival is continuing. There is a lot of energy moving, and at the same time, there's a great state of quiet that dawned a couple of days ago. Whether or not you felt it energetically, I don't know, but all of a sudden there was this softening somehow and an opening in the energetic field that we live in and breathe and create. Take time for calm. Take time this week to be calm. Touch your heart. Be about this incredible, wondrous experience of being you. Wonderful experience of being you. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Let's not do the peace song.
Okay.
Let's just quietly greet one another and move on into the experience every day. Just carry the energy of our time. Just take a breath. We don't have to say, let there be peace on earth. There's already peace on earth. You're welcome. Nice to see all of you. Have a great week. But Steve, you could do a song. We're not done yet. We're not done of you yet.
All right. I'll try this one. I rewrote the words this morning over my bowl of granola. So, and they're in small words. So if I've got my distance contact in this eye, so I'll be reading it that way. So, here we are in the summer of our year. We celebrate the sunshine and the path that brought us here. The spring and the winter so far gone. So we welcome in the brightness and the bringers of the dawn. Can we nurture new hope all around? Maybe peace, maybe somewhere in some war-torn town where the birds return to the trees. Smoke no longer lingers in a brand new breeze. Well, let's celebrate and renew. I'll be your loving best friend while we review. And maybe that is all we'll need to do. Let's take a breath and renew. Can we savor every cycle of the moon? Just stirring up the tides on a stormy afternoon, where our beaches stay so strong. We can take in that view as night comes on. Then let's walk down by the beach and renew. Maybe catch an early star or the rising moon. I think that is all we'll need to do. walk so closely together, make one heart out of two. Let's walk by the beach and renew. Renew, it'll just be me and you. Renew, and this day will do. This moment is a present, it'll only take a few. Let's walk down by the beach and renew. Now this moment is the time of our lives. We can thrive or simply survive. Oh, but never, never throw it all away instead. Let's hold each other's hearts. Oh, my friend, let's hold each other's hearts and renew. We can glow from our souls in this perfect little room, and I think that is all we'll need to do. Let's hold each other's hearts, make one out of two. Hold each other's hearts and renew. You can hang on to me, I'll hang on to you. Let's hold each other's hearts and renew.